How do directors portray their specific genre and plot in films? Films and their genres are quite a complex and intricate topic to deconstruct, especially when considering subgenres, directors' personal influence, story arc, and individual differences between films. However, all films have certain similarities in which they are subsequently defined and categorized. The focus point of this investigation is how the directors choose to convey these similarities, whilst also having individual elements. What defines a genre and why is it important? A genre can be defined as being categorized due to similar filming techniques and/or cliches. These can include setting, content, themes, time periods, and styles in either characterization or images, with many films being combinations of different movie genres referred to as hybrids. As based on an in-depth analysis on the topic from filmsite.com, in which many different film and television companies came together to create a clear and concise definition. Essentially, directors and production companies all similarly define and categorize their films using certain techniques and styles to specify a film. In conducting a survey of roughly 30 people, of both students and teachers, it was determined that a clear majority of people believed that they had a good understanding and a broad viewing variety when it comes to films. Of those surveyed, more than 90% of people believe that defining and organizing different movies into clear, distinguishable categories or genres is quite important. This survey also suggested that generally, viewers that had an apparent film knowledge can identify the genres that certain films belong to. This is evident as the survey included a wide variety of films to determine if this was accurate. Looking at the films that fit into comedy, horror, action, fantasy, and many other genres, throughout these different genres, there was over a success rate of 87%. In a book entitled Film Genre From Iconography to Ideology, author Barry Keith Grant states that creating genre movies has been around since as early as 1908, with the Motion Picture Patent Company essentially refusing to hand over equipment for movie makers who didn't conform to their restrictions. Genre movies being stereotypical films, conforming to frequently occurring ideas in films of the same genre. Grant believes that genre movies had saved the film industry at the time and subsequently made it the empire that it is today. Are there specific filming techniques that don't conform to genre filming? The great thing about films is that although there are similarities between them, they are all diverse. These differences in films are how directors and screenwriters portray their individuality and are the key differences that can make a film a huge success or a failure in the eyes of critics and general viewers. For example, some great films with alternate filming styles are Shutter Island. The psychological thriller Shutter Island is a film filled with metaphors and techniques to establish the genre of the movie. The film's genres are classified as thriller, mystery, drama, and psychological thriller. The big twist ending is amplified with hidden messages and clues littered through the film. One such example is the rat in the maze scene, in which lighting plays an integral part. Leonardo DiCaprio's character, Teddy Daniels, is interrogating an inmate of the asylum about the whereabouts of Andrew Leatis, the man he believes killed his family. It is later revealed that Teddy Daniels himself doesn't exist, and that Leonardo DiCaprio's character is Andrew Leatis himself, an inmate of the very same asylum. This interrogation scene is integral due to the lighting of the scene subtly and discreetly adding a level of foreshadowing to the twist ending. The quote, "You can't uncover the truth and kill Leatis at the same time," is accompanied by a shot of the protagonist surrounded by darkness but lit up by a matchlight. It then shows Teddy's wife hidden in the shadows, symbolizing the hidden truth that will eventually be found out. Academy Award-winning The Matrix is categorized as being action, sci-fi, adventure, and fantasy genres, in which protagonist Neo is told that the world he knows around him is completely fake, and that he has lived his whole life in The Matrix, which is a computer program keeping people from being free in a robot oppression which is in the real world. Upon leaving to the real world, he learns that the Matrix can be read through a code, which is shown with green symbols on an old computer. In an interview with the Wachowski brothers, the directors of the film, they explained that all of the scenes filmed within the program, that is called The Matrix, were covered with a subtle green tint, showing that this world is all fake and is being read through this code. a motif inspired by the green that was present of old PCs. The change is subtle but effective and well done. This just shows that even a subtle change of colour in a film can have a big impact on the meaning. What general techniques are used to show genre and plot? Crack.com, an online film and television analytical company, released a video in which, due to their own research and analysis of different horror films, they believe that the decline in horror film in general, is when the viewer is shown what the antagonist truly is. Furthering this idea, an article from Filmmaker IQ called The Psychology of Scary Movies indicates that when elements of the terrifying monster are still unknown, psychologically, this is when viewers are most afraid. This allows the viewers to fill in the gaps of what their subconscious fears the most. This technique is used in horror and thriller movies constantly, with it also coinciding with techniques of suspense and build-up to make the final reveal more dramatic. The genre of comedy is quite broad, with many different branches of subgenres that belong with it. However, critically acclaimed director and screenwriter Sir David Lean created the Rule of Three, or David Lean's Rule, which is used constantly throughout different films that are classed in the comedy genre. The rule itself is essentially a three-step rule, which is to tell them what you're doing, do it, then tell them what you've done. Used majorly on dialogue humour, using multiple jump cuts rapidly to generate laughs. The same idea is often used with the technique subversion, in which the opposite is done. The major focus point of this research project has been to use the information and communication technology capability to demonstrate understanding. Using the information obtained, the following next step in the process was to use this knowledge and demonstrate how it has been learned by creating a short film using different techniques and subsequently categorizing it into genre. This is that short film. Whoa, what the hell? What's it doing?
Load of this. How good does it get? I mean, whoa, what the hell was that? Guys?
Where does everyone go?
It's not my parents. They're my parents. And I love them. What the hell is that? Oh my god, oh my god.
The short film The Trip has used elements of different previously explored techniques. This ranges from a montage, which acted as a lighter introduction whilst also acting to show more footage, working in a tight schedule. This montage has the presence of dark undertones that can subtly implant darker, scarier thoughts of what's to come, ranging from the subtle 666 or the devil's number in the cards, the dogs running for seemingly no apparent reason, or the bonfire burning in reverse. The montage also is filmed with a yellowish warmer filter which audiences associate subconsciously with happier times, opposing that in the latter parts a colour draining whiter filter is applied to clearly differentiate the differences between these two times. The entire filming was done with a handheld camera using the style of found footage to give the more realistic effect, whilst also allowing the audience an insight into what the protagonist is experiencing during the same time as they're viewing. A psychological angle was also looked at in this short film, with the cause of the disturbances unknown, along with no big reveal of the primary antagonist, allowing the viewers to subconsciously fill in the blanks of what they thought it could be and what it is that scares them as individuals. Overall, it can be categorized by being put into the genre genre, with it being designed to evoke panic in the audience, whilst also focusing on the idea of alienation, hence the camping location and solitary scenes. Techniques that were incorporated add to this, whilst adding to the film itself as well. The question of how directors portray their specific genre and plot in films is quite a diverse question. By researching and deconstructing different sources in films, the answer is quite broad. Directors use a different collection of techniques and cliches to establish their film's genre. However, it is how they diversify and creatively infuse other themes and ideas into their films that makes the film industry as diverse and as huge as it is today.